gear up, and
I don't know. I don't know.
I know it's been one of those weeks, man. You know, where it seems like, wow, everything that we tried to do just didn't really work the way we hoped it to. A lot of news. I'm going to go over that. This is the pre-show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. Did anybody do anything? Does anyone else have a segment one? I feel like I should ask before we get in there. Is anyone going to talk about anything extra that they did? Because I watched a couple of things.
All the stuff that I did this week of any interest is not comic book related.
Oh.
So.
Not even nerd related at all?
No. Sorry.
I did go to Free Comic Book Day yesterday. But...
Oh, how did that go? How did that go?
Did that also.
Well, you guys can talk about that in segment one.
Yeah, we can do that.
That'll be quick. News. Okay. There's a lot of news, all right, but it's mostly Batman related. So we can, and Robin, okay, because after, and this is a little tidbit, after Tynion leaves November, Batman is actually leaving Gotham. Okay, that's like the new arc after Fear State. Batman leaves, and the rest of the Bat family fills in the gap. So they really went out into that. Like, we got Robin as bisexual. The Batman is over half of DC Comics November titles. There is Captain America Iron Man #1. The book Robins was announced by Tim Seeley. Robin and Batman #1 was announced from Jeff Lemire. And this Dark Knights of Steel, which is like Batman back in medieval times, was announced.
I mean, it is Tom Taylor, though, you know?
It is Tom Taylor.
Sure. And he does excel in those sorts of stories. I just don't know what else we would fucking say except it's Batman Medieval Times by Tom Taylor. And then Danny DeVito is writing a Penguin comic for the 80th anniversary. But then I've got like a page and a half on just Substack.
Oh, yeah. We could talk this whole time about
That's what I'm asking. Should we just skip all this stupid... Because I got nothing to say about all this Batman and Robin stuff. It's just... I mean, it is what it is.
We can do like the highlight reel version of it. I feel like there's stuff to say. But...
That's basically it. They exist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then I got a shit ton of Substack. I do have some Transformers news after a double dose of Mountain Dew news.
Oh, Mountain Dew news. My stomach is already churning.
And then, a weird top 3 because a lot of these books were just trash. I actually have more notes on the bottom 3 dishonorable mentions than I do good books this week. So,
well, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But I actually hadn't heard about Jeff Lemire writing a Batman book.
It's called Robin and Batman.
It's only 3 issues. I think it's one of those prestige Black Label books.
It is.
Still, Jeff Lemire gives that a cursory glance, if nothing else.
Exactly. Oh, sure. Exactly. Yeah, if nothing else, we're going to take a peek. So, did you guys... Well, all right. Then we'll just fly through all of that Batman.
Fly right through, sure.
Real quick, and then we'll get deep into Substack. So anything else? Anybody have anything else to add? What If is on the list?
Nah, man.
What If?
What If is on the list?
I think we got a full week.
It is, man.
I mean, this sounds easily like an hour's worth of material already.
Oh, man, it's going to be a lot. I got hammered on Friday and Saturday.
Good for you.
Should not have done that.
Bad for you.
I felt great in the morning. It was actually the night. I drink good stuff. I was drinking scotch, 12-year-old.
Scotch.
Oh, so it's like sophisticated.
I'm sophisticated hammered. Sophisticated hammered.
Hey, that's the better alternative.
Yeah, man. I'm classy.
No such thing as too much class, as our good friend Ted Lasso would say.
My lady actually got me a bottle of the Glenlivet 12-year, and it came with a bottle of the 14 and the 15, like a little bottle, like an airplane bottle. And the 15 was good, but the 14, it's double aged in sherry casks and then in cognac casks.
Oh, so it picks
it's
up.
It's got a wild flavor, man. It's wild.
I don't know enough to know whether or not that's super impressive, but I do appreciate that
it kind of is.
They're going through. I don't care, David, but they're going through a lot of effort to do it, and I appreciate that for you.
Yeah, they're putting in a lot of effort.
it is possible for you to
If
take
you're
a
about to
jab.
go into an explanation, I beg
Yeah.
you not to.
Well,
Scotch
I'm not
is
giving
a
you an
science.
explanation, but it is possible
All right.
for you to take just plain water and put it in a barrel that had like Jack Daniels in it, and it will have a percentage of the alcohol just absorbed through in the water. So,
and the flavor. Yeah.
so
It's
that's
not a good
where
idea.
that's what that's about. But it's not a good idea to do that.
Yeah. All right, let's do this thing. We're right on time today. Always on time.
Are we? Are we really? Are we?
Sheer fucking hubris.
It's true.
Okay, old lady.
It's true. It's true. How dare we? How dare we? Greetings, geeks! Welcome back. Another episode of this Geek in Comics, Outright Geekery's comic book shit talk show. Gomer, Adam Normal, Taylor, aka David. How's it going, gentlemen?
Pretty well.
It's going all right, man.
We're gonna talk about. I guess everybody but me went to Free Comic Book Day.
I didn't go.
Oh, weird.
It was just Taylor and I.
Just
I
Taylor.
watched Reservation Dogs on FX. I actually watched it on Hulu. This is Taiki Waititi. It's just about some kids who live on a reservation and their struggles as native kids. It was fantastic. It was funny, really good show. Yeah, watch it on Hulu. And also, Friday night, the Comic Book Bullies, along with Gabriel and I think Gabriel's cousin. I don't know. Gabriel's a friend of the show. They played Friday the 13th, the game. If you don't know how this game works, it's sort of like a co-op. You know, everybody jumps in, and then at random, one person is Jason, and then the other folks are obviously, camp counselors or
Oh,
whatever.
so it's like a zombie mode.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But Jason's got his own unique powers, and the players have their own things they can do. And, like, for example, you have to get gas, a battery, and the car keys, and then you can start the car and you can leave. But it was hilarious. Leroy had never played it before, so he became Jason at one point, and
Oh no.
I had no idea what he was doing. It was hilarious. I had a great time. So, yeah, that's what I did this weekend. What did you guys do? Free Comic Book Day. Taylor, you went.
Free Comic Book Day, yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same as you would expect if you've been there before, but
Was it busy?
It was
fairly busy when I went, yeah.
it was fairly busy. It was less busy than it has been previous years. It wasn't,
Obviously.
super packed, but it was definitely busy.
Well,
More people
between
than I've seen in the shop.
between pandemic fears and a lot of people probably not even realizing that they had moved it this year in the first place.
Sure.
Yeah, but I entered for a raffle, which I haven't heard back from yet, so I guess I didn't
Me
win.
too.
But
Assume that you didn't win.
Yeah.
I always assume so. Yeah, that's the nature of the raffle.
even before you play, I'm not going to win this.
Yeah,
Cool.
and the Free Comic Book Day books, they are what they are. I will say a couple shout outs. There was a Stray Dogs one this year,
Nice.
which is a good one to pick up because they literally give you the first issue of that book for free.
Oh wow, that's the best seller. Or
Yeah.
the best way to sell that book.
So yeah, if you
just
have
give 'em
not
away.
picked up that book, I mean, this is a free issue of it for you.
Nice.
And then the only one of the big two that I wanted to talk about was the Avengers one with Jason Aaron. And that's just because it's showing us where his new arc is going, and it's
the underwater. Doesn't it have underwater Avengers in this?
for a panel, yes, it does with Captain Atlantis. But it's showing us that Marvel is going DC again.
Oh.
We're having another multiverse war, and the last page stinger for this issue is actually the exact same last page stinger for Infinite Frontier this week from DC, where Avengers reveals a new multi-dimensional Masters of Evil.
Oh, I saw both of that. Yes.
Right.
Okay,
Infinite Frontier shows a brand new Injustice League Incarnate or whatever.
Yeah, like a multiversal Injustice League.
Yeah. So both the big two are both doing the exact same thing right now.
As always. Well, that's interesting. Those are all available for free, I think, on Comixology. The Marvel and DC ones, the free
Oh,
comic
yeah.
book ones. Yeah.
Probably.
All right, cool. Let's get into the news, y'all. It's a bunch. I mean, it is a bunch. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep up. All right, Robin came out as bisexual. This was who? Tim Drake.
It is Tim Drake. Yeah, this happened in Batman Urban Legends #6.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. This really is not a surprise if you've been reading Batman Urban Legends, but nobody is reading this book other than me.
Exactly.
But this whole storyline, it's been a 3-part storyline. So you kind of knew from the first part where this was going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not that surprised. Tim Drake, honestly, he's kind of been the Robin that's been left behind recently. Every Robin's kind of had a shtick or a thing. And Tim Drake is kind of not. So, I don't know. I guess this can be his thing now.
Sure.
Whatever.
Or at least a thing for this issue. I mean, it's fine. Who cares? It's great. It's awesome.
He's a teenager. Experimentation.
I mean, honestly, this is the last. It's the last time that Tim has been like in the news cycle at all. In the last time I can remember, you know.
Right. Yeah. He's done nothing for like 10 years now.
That's fine. Representation matters, and that seems like okay. But in another way, it seems like, oh wow, thanks for throwing us Tim Drake. Whatever.
It kind of feels a little bit like
Tim Drake is the best Robin.
Oh God, don't know.
I don't know. It does feel a little bit like Iceman, maybe like
I liked
10
the
years
Iceman
ago.
One. I liked that one. I like Bobby coming out. Because he's like his younger self came and he had like this inner realization through examination of his younger self. And I think that is kind of how it organically happens in real life. And I kind of reflected well in fiction. I haven't been reading Urban Legends, so I have no idea how organic or fluid this whole thing was. But anyway, moving on. Dark Knight's domination. Batman makes up over half of DC's November titles. So out of the 91 solicited monthly titles in DC's November 2021 solicitations, these also included some December issues that they were soliciting early. 54 of them are Batman comics, Batman spin-offs, or feature Batman in a guest appearance. I'm not sure if that counts. And I'm not even sure if that... I mean, Batman can show up and it not be in the solicit or on the cover of the book, so it could be even more. And that may have happened before, but I don't think there's anybody denying that. Damn.
We are at point bat saturation.
Yeah, there's a lot of Batman, y'all.
I mean, you've been using that like image of the Batman army for as long as I can remember already,
Yeah. So everyone has finally caught up to what we've known for years. There's too much Batman. He obviously sells, right? I mean, or they wouldn't be
obviously.
They wouldn't do it if he wasn't selling. I mean, it wouldn't make sense.
I ain't buying it. They did announce, and we're flying through this, Captain America Iron Man #1 of 5. It's a mini. Derek Landy and Angela Unzueta. It's Alex Ross cover, obviously. November 24th. A government agent turned Hydra provocateur stages a daring breakout on her way to prison, attracting the attention of both Iron Man and Captain America. When Steve and Tony realize they both have a connection to the free fugitive, they team up to track her down, only to discover she's not the only player on the board. Well, there you go. Who cares? Sorry, that's all there is. It's nothing. There was no other news. Terrible. Robins was announced again.
Doesn't have the best Robin, so probably not going to pick this up.
No Damien.
No Jarro.
Oh, I was going to say, isn't that Damien right there leading the pack?
No, Jarro's the best Robin.
He's all right. This is Tim Seeley, art by Baldemar Rivas.
I actually kind of like Tim Seeley, so I'll probably pick this up.
Yeah, I will probably pick this up too, actually. I don't know. I like
Robins.
If there's only 5 of them, I mean, yeah, he's 50 in the top 50%. So yeah, a true fan favorite title with the votes to prove it. This book was that round robin. Remember, they had this thing where you had to vote. It came down to this one and the Suicide Squad, and this one won. So there you go. Moving on. Batman and Robin has been announced. Robin and Batman.
Get it right.
Announced. Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nguyen, 40
Hey,
pages, $6, three.
They've been killing it on Image over at Cinder.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Prestige, Raphael Albuquerque's got a variant. It's November 9th. The world's first sidekick is just starting out at the side of Batman, struggling to find his own path from personal tragedy to being a superhero. It's an intimate look at the first growing pains of one of the Legends of Gotham City in this gorgeous 40-page prestige format title. I will be skipping this. I don't care.
I think I might actually check this out. I mean, what's the price point on it?
It's $6, 40 pages in that prestige format.
Yeah, it's always that prestige format, $6 that always.
Yeah, that's turning me off, dude.
I really like that creative team,
Me too.
and that premise does sound like it could make for a good story, especially in Jeff Lemire's hands. So I will at least strongly consider getting this. When's it out in again?
November 9th.
Yeah, I have a lot of time to think about it, I guess.
Exactly.
I'm not certain, but I'm leaning towards a maybe right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure the preview pages are going to be gorgeous. I'm sure those aren't going to turn me off. I'm just not excited about an early
artwork. Never gorgeous,
right? I'm just not excited about an early Robin story. I don't know. Why does every fucking Batman character need their own book? Why do I need to know every intimate detail of everyone Batman has ever fucking known? That's every book in DC. It's getting to be too much that even the books that might be great I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, you can make that same argument with X books over at Marvel.
But the X books, there isn't just an X-Man. You know what I mean?
There is just an X-Man.
There's multiple X-Men. There are so many mutants. You know what I mean? But yeah, those were not great this week either, the X books. All right, moving on. This is actually really cool. Dark Knights of Steel. I will be picking this up. It's basically Game of Thrones meets Batman. Batman with medieval flavor. Tom Taylor and Yasmin Putri. Yeah, it's a rewrite of the DCU with medieval flair, basically. Love that.
That's a nice cover.
That's beautiful. And yeah, there's a lot of covers.
Go back to the character sheet cover. That was really cool, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's rad, dude.
Yeah.
And
So is he like?
they're probably going to do that with all the characters because that's obviously Superman, and they're going to do it with all of the Justice League medieval. So cool. Yeah, and it's Tom Taylor. He works best when he's outside of main continuity.
He'll probably be good.
Yeah, I'm all over it. This is the only book in the solicits from DC this month that actually felt appealing to me. And then finally, Danny DeVito. I don't even know why I have this. I mean, this is how far.
Danny DeVito.
What did I delete something? Yeah, there it is. Danny fucking DeVito. He's writing a Penguin story. Let's move on. Substack. Okay. While you slept, the world changed. All right. Everything you know that was good about comics is now dead. I'm just kidding. The market's got to evolve, right? Everything's got to change. So what is Substack? Substack is pretty easy to get a handle on once you understand what it is. It is a newsletter platform that allows people who use it, who send out newsletters, to monetize sending out those newsletters. So basically you subscribe to a newsletter and they send you shit that you are going to enjoy, in theory. So back in June, Amazing Spider-Man writer Nick Spencer, he was put in charge of an initiative to conscript comic book creators to the Substack platform. And this week it happened in a big, huge way.
Apparently.
Yeah. It is worth mentioning, before we get into any of these details, right, that Substack is notorious for having some major problems. Right? You all right, Taylor?
Yeah, I'm just trying to fight against the lagginess by maybe turning my video off here.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. There's a question of whether this model that they use makes them a media website, right? Now, there is the talk of social media, being that, not just a platform, but the way they're doing things. Like, if you go and find a publisher, you have to adhere to certain rules. You take on certain responsibilities for the people that you're publishing. So if they go out and pay these people and then they publish to Substack. Substack takes a responsibility under certain, restrictions, under certain rules. But what Substack is doing is giving these people grants, right? So it's kind of a loophole where Substack doesn't have any responsibility for what is actually being published on their platform. So, and this, you know what? Facebook and Twitter do the same fucking things, only they call it cross promotion advertising with NPR and those videos and shit they put on there. But they're not really technically a platform. You know what I mean? A publisher. So anyway, it also has come out that Substack not only allowed like transphobe, alt-right, other prejudiced opinions on their platform, but the same way that they gave James Tynion IV a grant and others grants to come to their platform and work, they gave people who they knew were transphobe, alt-right, and were prejudiced to come to their platform. And Substack does not reveal who they've actually given money to. James Tynion volunteered that information, just to be upfront. So in reply to this, a lot of the comic book creators who have jumped onto this Substack platform because $, have said they're going to donate some or all of their proceeds to charities, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, that does not balance out these fucking scales, all right? This is a big media company, a big technology company playing newspaper who's trying to get over the rules that are in place so newspapers take responsibility for that shit they publish, and they're letting them get away with spitting venom into society. All right,
That's the problem with like a lot of them, the more newer social media platforms.
Yes.
Though.
Yeah. So basically, this is Patreon.
Kind of, basically.
Yeah.
This is big news though, because pretty much all the established creators are leaving the big two. They're going the Substack route, which we've been saying for years the big two needed to pay their creators more. They needed to pay their creators better. They needed to give them better rights.
Yeah,
all kind of stuff.
Mediums,
yeah. Right, and this is kind of what happens. It's kind of what's going on now in the labor market now in the U.S., where if you don't pay these people, they go and they find their money elsewhere.
Exactly. So it seems like it's about $7 a month. That's the average, that you're going to pay if you subscribe. There are free tiers where you can still follow everything they're doing and learn what you're missing out on from paying $7. Jason Aaron has one of these. He don't charge nothing for his. But you don't get nothing either. Tynion has said that he'll probably put out 10 pages every other week of new content. But he's also going to put developer content in there, promotional content. You're going to get access to stuff early, merch and things like that.
I have a question.
Yes, I'm open to questions because I know I'm
$7. Is the $7 subscription the base? Can a creator go higher or lower?
Yeah, they can go higher. I don't know. I haven't seen anything lower.
And it is $7 per creator, right?
Yes, that's the thing. A lot of these creators all jumped out in the first week and were like, "Hey, follow me, $75 for the year." And I'm like, "All of you? Like all 5 of you? That I would maybe follow?" There's only one that I'm actually seriously contemplating.
Who's that, Hickman?
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a minute. So it allows.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about it now, because that was my big takeaway from the news. Was selfishly, I care the most about this potentially cutting short the X-Men run.
Well, and I mean that brings up right what I was going to talk about. The way this went down in the first newsletter James Tynion sent out, he said, DC Comics offered me a great contract, exclusive for 3 years, where I would continue to write Batman, which is the most popular comic book on the planet. And he said no. So it's got to be a big deal. It's got to be huge. The contract he's getting, the freedom,
or the money that DC offered up wasn't as much as the money he could potentially make with Substack.
Or he just wants that freedom. You know, no editorial, no promotional problems. He can talk about his shit on his terms whenever he wants, however he wants.
He gets to keep whatever he makes.
He gets to keep whatever he wants. They can't just take his Batman
Right?
shit and
because
throw it up on
because
something else.
he's been making character after character for Batman in his run, but he doesn't get to keep any of that shit.
They're going to use Punchline. They're going to use Clown
Ghostmaker.
Hunter. They're going to use those characters eventually, even if it's just animated. Those characters are going to get used. So
I am
basically-
inclined to believe it is the principle of the thing for a lot of these creators.
Exactly. Because he's quitting his social media too. He announced that this week.
See, I don't know if I like that one though.
Because all you got to do is follow his free tier, and you get all the information that he would be putting up on his social media. He said he doesn't like the social media algorithms. He doesn't like not being in control of the message.
but I'm not gonna go join his free tier. So,
And again, I'm hearing that a lot. Just out of principle, people are hating this because of the way it's sort of changing how comic books are. It's making comic book writers the product instead of their actual products. And I mean, there is a good argument there. But basically what Tynion has done is he's taken every step of the comic book creation process from early development through all the way to promotion and selling, distribution, and monetized it, where he is the only dude making money. There's
Good
no
for him.
There's no publisher. There's no social media hurdles. There's only him and his artists. That's it.
That's awesome.
I know, man. It's hard for me to say, oh, man, what an asshole. Damn, dude, if you can make money doing that. He was bragging 3,000 subs at the end of the first week. Dude, at $7 a pop?
Yeah.
That's some money you
That's
can take to
ball
the
of
bank.
money. That's ball of money. That's ball of money. That's not even counting his other shit, which is still going to go on. His current creator-owned shit, Department of Truth. What else he's got? Something's Killing the Children. The Nice House on the Left. All those are going to keep on going. Nice House on the Lake.
Nice House
on the Lake. Yeah. All right, so let's get into some specifics. Snyder has a Comixology deal. So he ain't doing nothing. He ain't publishing nothing through Substack. He's actually doing comic book writer classes, which seems like a much cooler idea. Tynion, Batman ends at 117 for his run. That's in November. Joker with issue 14 runs until April. And he's got no plans to write anything else in the future. He is doing a book called Blue Book, which is about UFOs with Michael A.
Oh, Project Blue Book.
Yeah, Project. Yeah, it was Project something, right?
Yeah, it's Project Blue Book with like Hynek in it.
Yeah. So yeah, he's gonna also push like. Oh, he's also gonna talk about behind the scenes look at his Batman run, including details on 5G that was not. That's kind of fun. Again, Scott Snyder ain't doing shit. Saladin Ahmed, who is currently the Miles Morales writer.
Mm-hmm.
He had a great run on what was it? Black Bolt? Was that his book?
Yeah, that
was
was
a
his
great
book.
book.
That was book a couple years ago.
Yeah. The biggest project of his professional life, Copper Bottle, which is actually an imprint. He's doing his own comic book imprint.
Really?
Through Substack. And this will be the first book drawn by Dave Acosta with colors by Walter Pereira. Sean Lee is doing the letters. This is going to be fall exclusively to subscribers on his Substack.
So will this be digital or will there be a physical?
All right, let me. That's a good question. All of the creators that we're talking about right now who have said they are releasing stuff on Substack have also said they will eventually release these in print. Because they want to still support, the stores and the traditional readers.
Okay.
That's fair.
We just don't know when the eventually is going to be.
Yeah, we don't. And what if this fails? What if in 6 months Substack's like, oh, sorry, we're
yeah.
terrible.
What if this is like a Quibi thing? You guys?
Yeah,
remember Quibi?
exactly, dude. Exactly. Quibi sounded dope. Little 5-minute things you could just watch in traffic or in the elevator. I never watched any of that shit.
No, man.
I'm also curious if they already have like publishers lined up to be physically printing stuff, or is that something they plan on still working out? Because if that's still up in the air, that could be a real logistical nightmare that they have not started on yet.
It could be.
You are
Yeah,
not
it
wrong.
could be like Dark Horse might take up the printing duties.
Exactly.
Or
That's the
Dark
thing,
Horse would
man.
totally do it.
They're gonna wait and they're gonna test the waters. They're gonna see how successful these books are, through this Substack, endeavor, and then, dude, I'm sorry if Hickman, or these are top guys. These are top creators.
Yeah, that is worth pointing out that if these guys can't make it work, no one
nobody
can.
can make
Exactly.
it work.
I would think that if they have just a little bit of success with these through Substack,
Who knows? There might be like a bidding war to
exactly,
publish these.
they might be bending over backwards to get their hands on publishing rights for these, dude. And they have all the leverage. Everything is already done. All you're doing is sending them a PDF. Even the promotion by that point is done.
Because you've already
What?
generated the hype for your subscription service.
Exactly, brother. Exactly. So this seems to be an apocalyptic survival style series. Chip Zdarsky, who is still going to be continuing all of his work that he's currently doing, including Marvel, including Stillwater at Image Comics. This is going to do public domain. It's about a family of comic creators wrestling with their greatest creation and the people who lay claim to it. It's a look at the industry through a fractured family and will feature a comic book artist nemesis named Brian Stegman. I'm in. I want that book really bad. Is it enough for me to pay to get it? What he's wanting? $7. I don't know.
That sounds all
I
like
don't know.
a lot like the Bill and Batman, or Batman and Bill.
Oh yeah,
documentary.
right. Sure. He's also going to bring the second volume of Capterra, his Image series with Kagan McLeod, which is a good series. David liked that series quite a bit.
Something I definitely want to clarify: is this like $7 for each of these creators? I would be wanting to follow. Okay,
Yes.
that could get really expensive.
Really
fast,
expensive. The first week when all 5 of them, the main ones that we're talking about, came out and said something, I was like, Jesus, man, I can't pay. They wanted $75 for the year. Like, it's a deal. And I'm like, no, it ain't. Anyway, Scotty Young teased I Hate Fairyland, and also brainstorming and art sessions, which if you can watch, see shit like that with Scotty Young, that would be freaking amazing. But the big one, Jonathan Hickman. Man, he already released some behind the scenes stuff. It's called 3 Worlds, 3 Moons. This is a terrible picture because of the way it is. It's really long.
Man, Mike Del Mundo.
It's a company formed by Mike Del Mundo, Jonathan Hickman, and Mike Huddleston. The idea behind it is what we are calling a concept universe, a place where from scratch, a universe of stories, characters, places is built, and the readers have full access to engage and watch it unfold. Basically, what he's doing is creating his own sci-fi shared universe.
That's awesome.
And he's going to walk you through the creation process. It's like if you got to hang out in George Lucas's head while he was, doing Star Wars. But it's more than
probably
that.
more Gene Roddenberry than.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that would be great if you weren't residing in my head. You could steal my ideas.
So the short version is we had a plan, then we found a much better one. We're locking in the details now, but it's going to be something you've never seen before. It's not just a physical gift or a comic. It's something that will give you a sense of what kind of story we're telling here and help you understand your part in it. And there's like all rewards. The books are going to be in print. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. It's a shared continuity universe with 2 of his ex-books writers, Excalibur and Ten of Swords writer Teenie Howard and Sword writer Al Ewing, as well as Catwoman, Swamp Thing, Justice League Dark writer Ram V, with artists Mike Del Mundo and Mike Huddleston. Also with graphic designer Sasha E. Head. Hickman's always pulling in the graphic designers. Sasha E. Head worked with Hickman on Decorum, which was one of my favorite books of last year. So again, it's a concept universe, like a concept album, where all of the individual characters and stuff we create together add up to be part of a much larger whole. I mean, it's hard to explain because it's just fucking Hickman going off the way Hickman does on Hickman stuff. There's no way we're going to understand it.
At this point, you're either all in on Hickman or you're not.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it.
This is the part that got me. Al Ewing has designed the various religious systems of each world and moon.
Oh, gosh.
Teenie Howard has created a magic system that is, frankly, going to blow your mind.
Oh no.
Ram V has done us the great favor of designing an economic model, both black markets and white, for the universe. This is like motherfuckers making a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, yo.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm
kind of.
freaking out. I'm freaking out.
I'm all for it, actually.
I want to pay this dude $7 a month.
This
Just
guy
play in that
might
world.
get my $7 a month. I mean, this sounds like it's either going to be like the most amazing thing ever, or it's going to be a complicated fucking train wreck.
Or both. Maybe both.
Maybe both.
Yeah. But, I mean, honestly, I thought about this. I thought about this hard when I was drinking Saturday night last night. This might be the most excited I've been about anything happening in comics since, like, Image became
Really?
a thing. Dude, this sounds
does
amazing.
It does have that
I'm
vibe.
glad you mentioned that because, yeah, this is kind of like this is more Image than Image was, because
Right?
now this is like direct drip line, right? From creators to anyone who wants to throw them $7 a month.
And not just the content itself, not just a finished product. You're going to be in on it from the very get-go. You know, everything from development through artists and going back and forth. Hickman has really said that he wants to go all out with this and make this a fan-inclusive thing, which, again, is very fucking weird for someone like Hickman, who does not like to get on social media, who does not like, you know, doing things in the context of fan interaction. But this is sort of one-way interaction. You know, he can just give everybody what they want, and then he doesn't have to fuck with anybody saying, you know, talking shit. Man, I'm stoked for this. Yeah, I think this is really going to get $7. $7 a month.
Well, you know that Hickman's only going to get the diehards. $7 a month. Only the diehard people are going to go out and pay this.
Dude, he's bringing in Al Ewing, Teeny Howard, Ram V.
I know,
Mike,
but still,
Bill Moon.
That is quite a murderer's row of talent.
I
That
mean,
is.
and it's just a playground. It's literally a fucking sandbox where he's like, let's do what we were doing at X-Men without fucking Marvel editorial breathing down our necks. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't this his space shit from X-Men?
Well, that's an interesting point to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Are
I was saying
are people gravitating towards the creators, or are they gravitating towards the characters? Because as great as all this X-Men stuff has been, these are characters that are beloved icons that have been around for decades.
He's working within an established context. In this, he has to create a compelling context.
And that is its own challenge.
Yo.
I'm not saying he's not up to it, but it will be interesting to see, you know, are the fans ultimately more concerned with the people writing the comic books? Or are they more concerned with the intellectual property itself?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
That is the big question.
And I think what you're saying is sort of a
and this is the
microcosm.
ultimate stress test to that very question,
Sure.
you know?
And I think what you're saying is sort of a microcosm, but the macrocosm, can comics survive without the big two? Maybe not survive, but maybe can comics thrive in an innovative and new way?
Have comics
Out
evolved
the big
beyond the big two?
Exactly. Maybe
That's an
the
interesting
best way
question.
to put
I
it.
mean, DC for a while now has really seemed like they are struggling to get by. This could this kill
if
them?
nothing else. Creatively, if nothing else, man.
Yeah.
Even Marvel, and I'm going to get to it in the context of the Defenders later. Defenders seems so whack. Doctor Strange doing what he's doing on the heels of, well, maybe not on the heels, but we know they're coming. The Darkhold book coming, which we know is Doctor Strange centric, and a book called The Death of Doctor Strange. It seems like things going on at Marvel and things going on at DC for two comic book publishers where their biggest perk, the biggest thing they got going for them, is that they're a shared comic book universe. Their universes don't seem very shared. Outside of Batman and outside of X-Men, everything else just seems to be going on in its own sort of thing.
Own little
it's-
pocket. Yeah.
And that's not cool, man. That's not cool, especially when there are much better books out there that are doing the same thing. You know? If I'm just going to read about a guy doing stuff outside
Right.
of it being important to a larger universe,
Like if you just want to
care.
read a really good comic book superhero connected universe, read Black Hammer.
despite Despite the Unteens being kind of subpar this week, yeah, Black Hammer is a great shared universe. But yeah, unbelievable Unteens. Sorry, anything else on basically 3 worlds, 3 moons? Keep that in mind, guys. 3 worlds, 3 moons. It's gonna be insane.
I'm not willing to pay $7 yet, but keep me posted.
I will.
Yeah, I think
I'm on
this
the
will
free
be.
tier.
I think this will be a. I'm going to wait a couple of months and see how people like it type of thing.
Oh man, look at that! That looks so great. So yeah, I'm stoked. I'm very excited.
But I guess that's another question that's interesting: is can these creator-owned things withstand the wait of people waiting before they commit to it? You know.
Well, and you say that Tynion was bragging that he had 3,000 subs in the first week.
Well, and they already have grants anyway, so they already have
grants anyway, so it doesn't matter.
True enough. True enough.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The big thing of the week outside of comics, but still comic-y, was What If, episode 1. My quick review. I loved it. I thought it was great. It took me a while to get used to it.
It's a lot of fun.
It took me a while to get used to the animation, but once I did,
I like the animation style.
I was on board. Yeah,
the animation was a big strength here. Well, the animation style, it did take a minute to get used to, but it was a major strength overall, I think, because you can show superheroes doing stuff that they haven't been able to show in like live action movies, like Captain Carter just like throwing cars around, you know?
Yeah, stopping a bus with her shoulder.
It was a little weird at first, but once it started getting into the action, it really kicked into gear. And
if you watch,
animation really made sense.
If you watch any anime that's done CGI, like the recent Berserk series and a few other animes, this is right up that alley. It was instantly I recognized this, and I was like, oh, this is much cleaner than that.
My only main complaint for this series was the Watcher is a terrible crypt keeper. He made no puns the entire time.
But really, can he make puns?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just allowed to watch. He can't pun. Shumagora sighting. I pronounce.
I was wondering if that's who that was.
It had to have been. Who else could it be? You know, it had to be.
It had to have been a named character.
Yeah, I bet if we put on
use a named character.
I bet if we put on the subtitles, it would have said, Shumagora's roar. But yeah, overall, it's a good show.
I am definitely on board for this.
I feel less invested in this than I do in the other shows they've put out so far, but it is fun, and there's nothing wrong with something being fun.
It doesn't feel like it even is something you could rank with the rest of the D+ shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It almost feels ancillary. It almost feels like Loki 1.5.
Kinda. I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is
out of Loki. You know?
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is everything Loki made happen.
But hey, if they are going to try to tie all this shit together, maybe that's the final episode of the season. Like Loki's like, hey, Captain Carter, and characters introduced in these other episodes that you've seen. Let's form the Exiles.
I hate it that they called her Captain Carter the whole time. Why didn't they call her Captain Britain? She was
Captain Britain is a different character.
I know.
Man.
They probably are trying to burn that bridge before they actually introduce the character.
They didn't want to have to pay Claremont.
I honestly don't know if they ever will use Captain Britain.
They didn't have to give him that $5,000
well,
check.
she did tell the guy, Captain has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
So
that's dope. We'll watch another episode Wednesday.
And I mean, oh my gosh, did you guys ever watch like the last episodes of the Clone Wars series where it had Ahsoka and the Clone Legion going to Mandalore?
Yeah.
That Luftwaffe scene is so much like that.
Oh, sure.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a great show. We'll talk about more next week. Let's do food news.
Yummy.
Okay, let's.
It's a double dose of Mountain Dew. They're bringing back Voodoo.
Ooh.
For a limited time. It's Voodoo 2021. It's like a guess the flavor sort of thing.
What is that distortion?
I don't know. I think it's on your end. But the more important news is
the hard
Dew. Oh gosh, hard water melton.
It's a goddamn wine cooler, and you know it, you sick son of a bitch. So there you go.
Bartles and James.
Yeah, Bartles and James. Seagrams.
What were those terrible Zima?
Oh, Zima were delicious.
But they had terrible commercials. The guy in the fedora.
Let's do a quick moment. It's actually my favorite. segment of the show because that's my favorite thing. They announced a Voyager Perceptor.
Yep.
I'm still getting some background on.
Is that the 86 Perceptor?
It's a SS86. It's it's like a movie masterpiece, but from the animated movie. He does have a different blast effect, but it is the same modeling as the other one. And his tank mode is actually legit. They are, admitting that he is a tank. So fuck off. We get a sweep.
Yep.
Not Scourge.
It is Scourge. It's a brighter blue than the original Scourge, and it has a different blast effect as always, which is rad. But the big one. Oh
leader, yeah, Starscream.
Coronation Starscream
with the crown
and a cape.
Definitely have to get this.
And the cape. Oh yeah, this is on my list. It's a partial of the Earthrise Starscream with new extra bits, and of course it comes with a throne.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I can't wait to get this.
For realism's sake, would you have to have your Galvatron figure just like stomp on him the second he sits down? Or?
Oh, just kick the shit out. Bad comedy. Yeah. Bad fucking comedy.
What is this bad comedy?
And also a late edition, Eagle Moss is kickstarting a Transformers chess set. Now, chess is classic, and that just means old and boring. But it's cool.
Have they never done this before?
No, not Eagle Moss.
That seems like low-hanging fruit to do, like, Autobots versus Decepticons chessboard like that.
Yeah.
It's being done through Kickstarter, so that's a good way for them to gauge interest in this.
Exactly. It's already gotten some good hype. Just search it out on Kickstarter.
They made Starscream the queen.
Yeah, they did. Come on, man.
No child of mine's gonna grow up to be a truck.
Damn it. This is my Starscream. Anyway, they do have some lower tiers where you can get like a single piece, which is kind of weird. But this thing is not cheap. $600 and up for a full set. There are higher tiers where the
fucking hell! Wow,
no,
it's 32 pieces though.
I don't care. That's absurd.
Is this made out of gold?
This is like paying for a new, current generation console. That's an absurd amount.
If you're not into the chess hobby, chessboards are expensive.
Eagle Moss does a lot of these. They have a Marvel one and a DC one, and it's like a collect a piece. Like every month, a new one will come out, and eventually, you'll have the whole set.
But does the $600 price chart was in correlation to the rest of them?
Yes. It does. If you look at all the pieces at $20 a piece times 32 plus the board, yeah, it sort of ranks up pretty good. So no guess on when that'll be available in retail, but I'm sure that's where it's going. So all right, we're up to top 3, gentlemen. Man, I want that Starscream so bad.
Wow, 32. If they're $20 for 32 or $20 for a piece, and there's 32 pieces, that's already over $600.
Yeah.
So really, quite the savings, I guess.
Yes, but that's just the figures, not the board. So yeah, that's a...
Thank you.
No, I'm kidding. That's still certainly too expensive.
Yeah, like Taylor said, it's a fucking PlayStation, dude.
Yeah.
I gotta delete some of these pictures. I'm going first this week because I want to bitch for a while about how terrible all of this week's books were. I hated everything this week.
Man, I'm glad that apparently that Defenders book isn't very good because I didn't pick it up this week because they only had the Rob Liefeld cover left
out of principle.
And I couldn't do that to myself.
Can you imagine Rob Liefeld on Substack?
Yeah. Oh, dude, he'd probably make some money.
He probably would.
He'd probably make some money.
Rob Liefeld has his fans.
He does have his fans.
I'm not
he's
one
got
of them.
He's got to fund that habit somehow.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a pretty average week. Batman '89, dude. I got halfway through that book and tossed it. I just don't give a fuck about Batman '89. Taylor and I were talking about it in the shop.
It's just a cash grab, man.
Wednesday evening. And
nostalgia. That's all DC is now. Is nostalgia.
It was terrible.
It's another Batman book.
I have yet to pick up any of these like set in whatever year Batman books. Like I didn't do like the Adam West Batman book.
Yeah.
I had no interest in the Richard Donner Superman book, whatever that is.
Yeah, I'm not minding that shit anymore.
And not interested in this either. So,
and then I'm going to talk some shit on what I would think would be books that you guys would have on your list. Unbelievable Unteens #1. Man, I wanted to like this Black Hammer Universe book. I just couldn't do it. This is yet another Black Hammer book where no one can remember shit. Oh, except one person can remember shit.
And that person's a dead ghost.
Let's fucking repeat. X-Force 22, same problem.
As opposed to an alive ghost?
He's got a weird power. His
Yeah,
power is kind of like being a ghost. X-Force number 22. Okay, we get it. All right, plant terrorism and beast an asshole. Shit, or get off the fucking pot with this same repeat story. We get it. Defenders number 1. It's a 5-issue miniseries, but man, it is such a slow burn. It was fantastic art, great design.
Yeah,
but
it's actually my number 1 this week.
Dude, it felt it felt pretentious, dude. Doctor Strange is summoning these people with tarot cards and shit. It was like, what the fuck?
You've activated my trap card.
Superhero book is this? I didn't like it. And plus, what I mentioned earlier about the Darkhold and Death of Doctor Strange.
I'm going to tap for mana.
Dude, that's right. It felt like he was tapping for fucking mana. I only got enough for Silver Surfer and this Immortal Hulk cast-off, who nobody really cared for anyway. Anyway, Avengers Tech On is my number 3, I guess. Jim Zub and Chamba.
You didn't sound so...
It was a solid debut issue. It could end up being really great.
I didn't give this a second look because I think that's a stupid name.
That's fair. It has this great...
What the fuck does Tech On mean? I don't even know.
It's like a Japanese thing for... Put your tech on your body. Wear your uniform.
That's all Iron Man does. Why does he need like a special spinoff for this?
So anyway, what happens in this? Right? It's like an Elseworld sort of retelling. They beat the shit out of Thanos. The Infinity Gems are turned to dust, but Red Skull finds them and takes away everybody's powers.
Oh, I have seen the film Ruby, and I know what this dust does.
Exactly.
I mean, doesn't that do nothing to Iron Man? He just puts his armor back
exactly.
on, right?
Iron Man had no change, right?
Right, okay.
But it was cool. It had this moment where Red Skull said no more powers, and like everybody was all, fucked up. So then they all get, suits. That's the last page.
Okay.
This is the Red Skull they're using. I loved it. I was like, oh, okay. It's different. It's trying something new, right?
He looks like a Dragonborn.
He's like a Dragonborn. It's a good way to put it. But again, it's like a Japanese take on their manga sort of take. Like, look, this is one of the panels of Spider-Man. It's like Chamba been waiting his whole fucking life to draw Spider-Man just in this one panel. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And the art throughout, is this style, and I really liked it. So, and it was a terrible week for comics. Adam, what was your honorable or dishonorable mention? Shit on something. It's easy this week.
I don't really have any honorable mentions.
It's a terrible week.
My number 3 is, I guess, X-Force number 22. I had my same complaints as you, man.
Yeah.
Like, this book needs to either shit or get off the pot. I get it. Beast is an asshole.
Plants bad.
I get it. They're plant people.
Yeah,
and they have a knockoff Swamp Thing now.
Manslaughter.
Manslaughter.
That's a dope name, though. It's a dope name.
Man's laughter.
Yeah.
I guess it's better than Man Thing.
Yeah, right. Right.
But yeah, this was just a standard issue of X-Force, and in a very light week, I mean, I guess it was good enough to be in my top 3.
It almost made mine too, even though I was like, "What? Didn't I already read this?"
It does feel like I've been reading this same issue forever.
Yes. Yeah.
X-Force needs to get somewhere. I think we're running into the problem of everything being connected in X-Men, with the Hellfire Gala slowing everything down.
Yes.
Ten of Swords slowing everything down.
Yeah, 100%, man. Senor David.
Yes. Hola.
You don't have a lot of honorable mentions, do you? Come on, man.
No, I will say I will say that I was a little disappointed with the Unbelievable Unteens.
Thank you.
Until the one character, the Ghost Boy, shows up, I didn't realize that this was a Black Hammer book. I just thought it was just written by Jonathan Lemire.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh gosh, this is not what I wanted. It's not great.
Yeah.
The 2 honorable mentions I got this week is Silver Coin number 5, which we finally
number 2. I'll talk about it in a minute.
When we kind of get the origin of the silver coin, and it's set in basically a Salem, Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
I'm can't.
Trials. Whatever. Move on.
Yeah, other honorable mention.
Fight Girls number 2.
Yeah, it was alright.
Beautiful art, a lot of monsters running in a desert. You got Tremors, you got big scorpions, and you got a big turtle.
Cool. Yeah.
And we're getting into a conspiracy now because the investigator from the Cat Fancies magazine is trying to figure out the story behind this Blackwater girl.
Number 3.
Number 3 is going to be Daredevil 33.
Dude, that's my number 1.
Ah!
Awesome.
It's just a whole lot going on in here. We have Bullseye clones.
Bullseye clones, what?
Which is a bad idea to begin with.
Yeah.
Now that you have more than one,
look at that fucking art, man.
Elektra just is trying to fight these guys, and they have a history, and now there are more than one Bullseye to fight.
Yeah.
Matt Murdock, Daredevil, has taken over the prison. He just
on a throne.
He's on a throne, and he wants Cole North. I mean, oh shit! A whole lot is happening in this book.
Look at the detail. Just look at.
Oh yeah.
All right, now this is Chip Zdarsky writing, Marco Cicchetto doing the art. But man, special shout out to Marcio Menez. Look at that color work, dude. That is just. Oh man, the way his reds and blues are fading, but fading like into each other on this. Oh, it's beautiful, dude.
But
beautiful book.
It was a well done book. I was really tickled with it, and I'm glad I picked it up this week.
Yeah, it looks like Elektra going to get an Iron Man outfit.
Possibly.
Very stoked to see that. Yeah. So yeah, great book. That's my number 1 in a crappy week, man. The mainstay, probably pound for pound, ongoing Daredevil. Maybe this Immortal Hulk ending might be the best book. Because Avengers is kind of all over the place and weird. If you just want like an honest to goodness, straightforward superhero book, Daredevil might. Like the best going on right now. So there's all my books. Go ahead, Taylor.
All right. No honorable mention this week.
Solid.
For my number 3, I picked Hardware, number 1.
It wasn't bad.
It had an important thing to say.
Yeah.
The artwork, it had like a nice edge to it, which I thought was appropriate for this book. The sequencing could be a bit better. It was sometimes hard for me to tell like what exactly is supposed to be happening in this given scene, but I still think that this was a pretty solid start, and this probably would be an honorable mention most weeks, but slow week.
Yeah, no, that's a good choice. I read it; it was solid. I just don't like Hardware. I'm just not a fan of the character.
I knew nothing about him going into this,
right.
Yeah, whatever.
My number 2 was the aforementioned Silver Coin, number 5. Michael Walsh doing writing and art here. Again, Salem Witch Trial, the origin of the Silver Coin. Just a great ending to this first arc. It was Chip Zdarsky, Kelly Thompson, Ed Bryson, Jeff Lemire, and we wrapped up with Michael Walsh. This has been picked up for a second arc. It's going to be Joshua Williamson, Ram V, Vita Ayala, and Matthew Rosenberg.
Damn,
dude, what?
This guy knows how to recruit, man.
Dude. So, yeah, in this book that's like a weird
He's
anthology.
giving Nick Spencer a run for his money, honestly.
For a book that is like a weird, unique sort of take on an anthology. Typical anthologies are the same writer, different artists. This is the same artist with just a who's who of writers all in this theme of the Silver Coin. Yeah, it's a great book, great idea, and man, I'm really glad it's successful. So, yeah, that's my number 2. Adam, number 2.
All right.
On the clock.
This is a very light week. I'm going to preface that before I pick my number 2.
Just say it.
My number 2 was Children of the Atom. Number 6.
That's actually my number 2 as well.
Wow.
I will say that it had a very heartfelt moment in it where Gimmick came out with her mom, or with her whole family, which came out during a good week where everybody was being an asshole about the whole Tim Drake thing. So I thought it came out at a decent time.
Yeah.
But that was a nice little heartfelt moment, and that's what X-Men have always been about, is exploring real world things using mutants as analogs. But honestly, like Children of the Atom, it's kind of been a waste of a time for me.
Dude, overall, they couldn't make me give a shit about these characters. That was the problem.
I found myself giving a shit about them.
No, by the
I do not expect them to ever show up again.
Okay.
I do not particularly care if they ever show up again.
That's fair.
But as a slice of life about kids who are trying to come to terms with themselves, having struggles with identity, which is a natural part of growing up. it did a good job with that.
It does end with them realizing they need to stop pretending to be somebody else. They need to be who they really are.
Yeah, so this being a metaphor about kids, like, trying to become themselves, and in a lot of the book here, looking in the wrong places to do that. I thought that was a pretty well executed metaphor. This is the type of book where you're going to have to go in knowing what you're in for, because it's not like it's not going to tie in with much of anything else. It's going to not have necessarily bad action scenes, but not particularly compelling ones either.
Yeah,
but
the issue before this had a couple of good 2-page spreads, of
action. Sure,
but yeah, you're right.
This is a coming of age story, and it does well with that.
It was really the scene with her coming out to her family that she's a mutant that sold this issue for me.
I disagree. I liked it with her and Buddy.
I liked her with the friends as well.
Yeah, dude, her and Buddy, especially when they sort of came out to each other.
Yeah,
and I guess I leaned harder into that. And felt like what they were trying to do was, again, I'm not really exactly sure what this book was trying to do. Taylor makes some good points about it being a coming of age and having these ideas and finding yourself and stop pretending to be other people and things like that. But in another way, it felt like this weird hero worship, and they were trying to tie it into the LGBT community in a way that I felt was kind of offensive and stupid and wrong for them to do it like that. And maybe it's because I leaned harder into, and I thought it was a very touching moment when, I don't even remember her name now, but the lead in this issue anyway, and Buddy, sort of had they were arguing at the beginning, and then they sort of made up. And then Buddy was like, I was jealous of you. I get that in the context of the hero worship, but then they took it all around to her parents. Like, she was coming out to her parents, and her parents were like, oh, we know you're gay, we know, it's all good. I don't know.
Well, that wasn't what she was coming out with, though. She was
exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not in that community, so it's hard for me
that is judge. Not our place to judge.
Exactly.
And the community is not monolith.
Exactly.
Different people will feel different things reading this.
Sure. But for me, I wasn't able to take that away from it. And I wanted to. Again, I thought this book had some potential in the the vein of the hero worship and Krakoa being what it is now, but it sort of lost that direction for me later. But
well, whatever else you want to say about this book, I thought it was very consistent. I think it told the story it wanted to tell.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, it had a direction, and it
went with it.
Yeah, it might have actually been a little late. I think it would have been better if this came out during Hellfire Gala. You know what I mean? It feels like it was a little.
It does
late.
feel a little after the moment.
Yeah. I think we're going to have to get used to especially since these arcs seem to be broken up by these big X events.
Yeah,
looking at them while we subtract the big X events sometimes,
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
Like with that X-Force book, it's broken up by Hellfire Gala, and maybe that's how we should look at it moving forward, is fucking ignore Hellfire Gala.
Right. So that was Adam's number 2?
Yep.
Dave.
My number two
is a book called Capisi.
Capisi?
Like Capisi, the Dragon District.
Man, this sounds terrible. Oh my gosh.
Basically, a mob enforcer has been tasked with eliminating or removing a dragon that has landed in Greenwich Village.
All right, that's all you need to say.
Yeah.
Adam giving away his number 1 up there, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But the book does a lot of world building in it. It kind of gives you a brief history of that there was a truce between the dragons and humans, and then along comes...
This is set in modern day?
This is set in modern day New York City, Greenwich Village. But
and where's the dragon come from?
The dragon comes from a place... No, the dragon comes from a place called the Clans of the West. It's an island that's like Avalon or something like that for dragons.
So it's like Monster Island.
Yeah. But apparently several hundred years ago, there was a falling out between the humans and the dragons, where the new king basically reneged on an oath to leave the dragons alone and sent armies to kill the dragons. And now this dragon has showed up in modern Greenwich Village, demanding that a descendant of the knight that led the armies be given to him so he may extract vengeance.
Oh, and it's the hitman.
We don't know if it's the Hitman yet, but the
could be.
Hitman has been tasked with removing the dragon.
Sounds good.
And the dragon has said that he will burn buildings.
What's the publisher? Who's publishing that?
Aftershock.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
But the dragon has said that he's going to be burning buildings in Greenwich Village until somebody produces this descendant of this knight.
Cool.
But there's a lot of world building going in on there because we get to meet the mob enforcer very early on, and he's like telling these guys that are kind of looking to set up like I guess a corner for some nefarious reason to get out. And he's like, yeah, this is Mrs. Jones over here, and she walks her dogs, and this is so-and-so, and that's a daycare center. And he's like, I just happen to be, the permits guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Sounds fun. Oh, here it goes. This dragon is back to get his cut of the action. Eli. Thanks for stopping by, Eli. Talked about the Friday the 13th game.
I really dig Eli's avatar there.
Oh, that's from that art.
That art that they were talking about last week.
Yeah. Taylor, number 1. I think you already said it.
I did already say it. Technically, we're supposed to be on my number 2 right now, but that was,
is it?
That was Children of the Atom. So we already talked about it.
Yeah. And my number 1 was Daredevil. So yeah, we're up to. I think you and Adam.
My number 1. Yeah, my number 1 is I kind of gave it away earlier. It's Joker number 6.
Oh.
Tinian and Gilliam March. This was just an okay issue of Joker, but it was by far the best thing that I read this week. The first 10 pages of this is straight up Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, right.
There's like a Leatherface character.
Oh man, it would have been great if the Joker was the Leatherface character.
No, he's not. He's not.
He already had. There was a.
That's the reason why I'm saying that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but the big thing here was Jim Gordon is going over to Europe to try to find whoever did the whole A-Day attack on Arkham.
Oh, there's still. I forgot. I keep forgetting that was a thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's still trying to figure out who's trying to do it, but he's just doing a whole bunch of inner monologuing while he's walking through France.
When is Jim Gordon never doing inner monologuing?
Right.
Yeah, and it's really good inner monologuing. He's doing a lot of talking about long-term relationships, disappointing people in those relationships to the point where they don't even get disappointed by the disappointments anymore.
Nice.
Sad sack stuff like that. But it's really good.
Dave, what are you doing? Are you making
good drawn art?
Something like that.
Joker
probably still would have been in my top 3 regardless, but it probably would not have been a number 1.
It's like a solid book, you're calling it out every time it drops. I still haven't gone back after issue 1 and read any more of it.
I don't know if there's a point with all this Tinian stuff with him leaving now.
It's ending now. Dave.
My number 1.
Number 1.
Is issue 3 of 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton.
Man, I hate this book. I've decided.
Oh man,
I don't like this book at all.
They go to recruit the only female sidekick, and it turns out that she is pretty badass MMA fighter.
Yeah.
She cleared up a lot of things, and now she gets drunk, and it's funny. She fights.
So what did you like about it?
Oh, I love the artwork. Kyle Starks does great artwork in this.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of good sequential art where she's fighting people and in a ring, when we watch the first X-Men movie and Logan's fighting in that bar fighting ring. Yeah. It's very similar to that, but there's just a lot of great sequential work that's just going on where she fights somebody, and then Brannigan.
It's the humor, man.
It's got a humor to it.
I know that's what you like.
She gets drunk, and it's just a great sequence of her having margarita after margarita, and her speech gets slurred, and it's reflected in the text bubbles.
Yeah. It's solid comic booky.
Oh yeah, and there's
a
lot of great interaction between these sidekicks now that we have the whole team kind of partially assembled. We got the Wheelman, we've got 2 really good fighters, we got the Brains, we got the Smart Aleck. And it's just building to this thing where they have a direction because they figured out who the 3 Samoans are working for.
Yeah.
But
I dropped it after this issue.
I love this.
It's just not for me.
I'm a real big fan of Kyle Starks, and I'll probably continue to read this book.
Good. We end with Taylor, and Defenders #1.
Yeah. The art alone definitely makes this the #1 for me this week. Javier Rodriguez does some phenomenal page layouts. I really love the way he's positioning people. And
no Rob Liefeld, right?
No Rob Liefeld, but he still manages to do pretty all right.
There's a page where Doctor Strange has just poured a cup of tea, and he's drinking the tea, and the steam coming up is the panels.
Yeah.
It's very, very well done. And, yeah, the art is top notch.
And I did like the story itself as well. Call it pretentious if you want, because you're a fucking asshole.
I did.
But this was a follow-up to that Marvel #1000 that came out. God, I guess it was like 2 years ago now.
Longer than that, man. It's
been a minute, and it definitely would have helped this book if it had come out much more quickly after that. Yeah. But I liked that, and I remember it fairly well. So I am glad to see it picking up with that. It is kind of bothersome. This book is giving you a lot of homework to do before you kind of get into it. Like, they also talk about something that happened in that Iron Man series that's out right now, which I have not read, but I guess I can roll with it well enough. But this was a first issue. They are assembling the team.
Well, there's only 5 issues. It's a short run.
So let's bust out the fucking tarot cards, get everybody magicked to the goddamn room, and let's just get fucking going. We don't have time for a goddamn recruitment mission.
Untapped.
So there's no haste, and they all have summoning sickness.
That's right. I'm gonna play my Silver Surfer. I'm gonna play my Immortal Hulk backup monster, and I'm gonna play a
Doctor Strange. And so lately they try not to lean into this, but historically, Doctor Strange is a fucking Deus Ex Machina
to
get the goddamn story moving along, and that's exactly what they're doing with him here.
I don't like the masker, whatever the hell.
I love the idea, and that was where all the whole Marvel #1000 thing. If you don't like that, there's nothing I can say that'll make you like him. So just agree to disagree on that. I think the character's interesting. I'm intrigued to find out who he really is. So that wasn't a problem for me.
We 100% agree on that art, though, man. It was a master class in how to create.
Because this was such a slow week, that art alone was going to make this my #1. But I did actually like the writing as well, which I guess we will disagree about that.
Who else is on the team? There's the Hulk person.
Well, we got the Masked Raider, Doctor Strange. Apparently, Red She-Hulk is going by Harpy now. I didn't realize that, but
that's Red She-Hulk, Harpy.
That's Betty Ross.
Yes, that's right. That's Betty Ross.
Yeah,
and then there's Silver Surfer. I think
Silver Surfer, obviously.
Who's that other person?
Someone named Cloud, who I had never heard of before. Apparently, it's a pre-existing character, but it was from a story I do not know.
Exactly.
But I am okay with just fucking rolling with it.
Me too. I'm just saying.
Like I said, this book does have an annoying amount of required reading in order to understand all the references, but they do well enough, like getting you up to speed, I think.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Gomer.
Dude, I'm not shitting on your pick. I'm not shitting on you picking it. I am shitting on your pick, but I'm not shitting on you picking it.
Whatever. All right.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We really appreciate it. Man, we actually got out of here earlier than I thought we would with all the damn news we had to talk about.
It's because there was nothing to talk about comic book wise.
I know. Dude, for real. You know when David only has 2 honorable mentions. Anyway, check out everything else we're doing, especially the Comic Book Bullies podcast. They're recording tonight. That should be really fun. They had an awesome stream over the weekend that you should go back and check out as well. That's right here on this Facebook channel. Go and check out all the other stuff we got going on at outrightgeekery.com. We got links to all the stuff we're doing, even our Patreon, where you can give us some money. Maybe we'll get a Substack. Dave, you going to start writing up our Substack every week?
I don't know.
$7 a month, and you can get...
Man, we can't even pretend like we're worth $7 a month, man. Don't even...
Hey, don't underestimate us, man.
You are overestimating us.
Greatly.
But yeah, we got other stuff going on here. Come back tomorrow night for our 7 o'clock preview show. Man, there is some great stuff dropping next week. Some amazing books. That's the stuff I've been waiting for forever. So come back and check those out. Yes, but thanks most of all to these 3 jokers for hanging out with this joker.
Oh, you're welcome.
We're going to do it again next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel. Na 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 na.